This is Sunniva.
And this is Johannes.
And you're watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Septima from Mindclash Games, designed by Robin Hegedus.
It plays from 1 to 4 players in 25 minutes per player.
Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. We will see. In Septima, which has our favorite theme of all time, you're gonna be witches, and the old Septima, the biggest witch of them all, is gonna retire.
Yes.
And you have to try to prove to the Septima that you're gonna be the new Septima. It's a new theme we've never seen before.
Yes, I haven't seen it with witches, but someone is leading. He's now dead. We have to take his or her place.
Yes.
Very classic, not so fun.
But this is a Mindclash game, so hopefully it's good anyways. Let's talk about it. We're gonna do it right now. It's here. The game is about being a witch coven. You have a little super witch that are gonna move around on this little board, which is a town. You're going to move around the board, you're going to try to get ingredients, you're going to try to heal patients, you're going to try to get spells to be even better at doing the things that you're doing, moving up on the ritual track because you're doing rituals, and being cool. Because being cool is what it's all about. You're trying to do all of these things, you're not actually trying to be cool, that's just me saying random things, but you're trying to do all of these things except being cool. That's something I focus on when I play the game, to get the most victory points, and the person with the most victory points at the end is going to be the winner. The game is card based. You're going to play 4 rounds, which is going to be a year, and each round is going to have 5 moon phases, and each moon phase everybody's going to play a card face down. You're going to flip it, and then everybody in turn is going to do the action on the card. If you're matched with one of the other people, or if you're matched with the action token on the Septima, then you are going to get suspicious. And if you are suspicious, the hunters are coming to try and get you. So you're trying to do the actions the best you can, but also trying to avoid the witch hunters, because if they take you, you're going to lose one of the witches in your coven, and then you're going to put them on trial. At the end of the round, when everybody's done all of their actions, which is 5, everybody's going to go on trial. There is one witch always on trial, and then there could be 2. You're going to do the trial by basically trying to get a majority. You try to put like your loyal citizens into the crowd, which is then you put them all in the bag. You have some angry citizens that you add depending on how suspicious they are of the different people in the game. You're gonna draw them out, and if the witches have the most loyal people there, then the witch with the most of the loyal citizens in the trial is gonna win the witch. If not, they're gonna die.
Yeah.
It's not in the book, but we know, like, the literature,
they're going to retire.
Yes.
Like Septima, retire.
The witch is going to disappear. We don't know how. Might happen something bad with them. Yes, we know from literature and sadly real life what they did.
Yeah.
I was like, it didn't happen, and I was like,
yeah,
it did.
It did.
Which is horrible.
Yes.
People are horrible, but now we're going to talk about a board game. The game has something which is artwork and components.
Yeah, and in this
you
game,
looked at them.
Yeah, it's not horrible. We have the deluxe version, and it looks really good. But overall, it's good quality components and really nice artwork. I love the artwork on the cards.
Yes.
I also love the look of the board, and I also love the components. I really like the art style. I think it really fits the theme in this game. And with the deluxe version that we have, like set up and tear down super easy, super fast because of all the game trays in the game.
Yeah, there is a big like potions thing.
Yeah, what is the deal with that?
I understand that. I would have liked it better. Like, it's so big and plasticky, and it's kind of hard to get the things out from it. Like the first few or so when you're playing a 4-player game, it's going to be harder. But you're not going to play a 4-player game. But it's not the best. It's not like the best part of it. But other than that, I really enjoy the artwork, the components, and the game trays for it. The game also has something that we are fan of many things in games, like artwork, components. What else?
Rulebook!
It has a rulebook, and this rulebook is 40 pages long, which is a pretty long rulebook.
That's a long rulebook.
But there is a few pages that are just the different things in the game, like the cards, the different goals you can get, the spells,
the abilities of the
witches, and also there is the whole solo rules are also in this. I like that the solo rules are marked with black edges on the side of the rulebook, so it's easier to find it when you're looking for it. So the main rulebook is 23 pages long, which isn't too bad because there's many pictures and there's like a few pages of setup. So not too bad, and as always, the Mindclash rulebooks are very good. So it wasn't hard at all to learn the game. Monique from Before You Play also did a very good rules video, which is the official rules video, so you can go and check that out as well. It's only 20 minutes long, only describing the base game, which we're going to talk about.
Yes.
But it's a very nice way to learn most of the game.
And the game also comes with nifty play rates, which I really enjoy. All of the abilities of the potions are there,
Yes.
which and all the prices for the potions as well.
Yes.
And on the other side is like what happens in the turn, like the turn summary, and all the actions are described on the cards that you have in hand. And you also have like one play rate, which is like the round end and a final scoring.
Okay, so let's talk about the game.
Yes.
This is a Mindclash game. Mindclash makes heavy Euro games. We played Voidfall just a couple of months ago and really loved it.
Yes.
And this is made to be the lightest Mindclash game. Already I'm going to say, of them, I think we played all the Mindclash games, and this is by far the lightest of them.
They have accomplished that.
Yes, that they have accomplished. And they have made a basic game, which they suggest that you play. But if you play that, you might not want to play the game anyway, and anymore after that, because it's pretty boring.
Yeah, the base game is lacking some major points. Like, obviously, it's basic.
A basic game,
I think it's made to be an introduction to
Yes.
the game. I would not play it
Nope.
at any time, because a big part of the game is like matching some symbols, and it really just takes that whole idea out of play with like missing all of those
The ritual track and all of that.
the rest.
I
in
will
my
say
opinion.
that if this is like your first Mindclash game and you know you're going to play it a few times and you know that you are not used to playing the heavier games, I'm happy that it's here
Yes.
for that purpose.
Yes.
But if you are used to playing Mindclash games, you don't need to play the basic game. Just jump right into the full game.
I agree.
The game is mostly based around these action cards. Like the action cards, basically, what happens with those is basically, like all the other things we're going to talk about, mostly comes from these action cards. You're going to have 9 of them in the full game, which is all the actions you can do. At the beginning of each moon phase, everybody's going to choose one and place it face down. And here we're going to start with a thing which I'm usually not a big fan of in these kind of games, and that is negotiation. You are bluffing. You can basically say, oh, I'm going to play this card now, and try to make other players play that card so that you can match, because matching will give you bonuses, but also move you on the ritual track, which will give you more spells and points and stuff like that. And then you can do it, or you can bluff them. You can play it without it, but it's going to feel more random, because it's going to be like, then I have to look and think what you're going to do. But you are like, the game is trying to make you do these things. What do you feel about that?
I feel like the negotiation in this game is very low key.
Oh, yeah.
You can, in your group, decide to go heavy for it, or you can decide to not do it at all. You can decide, like, this one round in the whole game, I really want to match with someone. Now I'm saying it, and you have to decide if you want to allow the other players that information to your potential benefit. So I feel like in this game you could really easily just don't, or you can really easily do.
Yeah, and I think that if you end up like having a group that love the negotiation, this game is going to be long.
Yeah, but like it's not negotiation in
No,
that
I
sense.
know.
You're not like, oh, if I'm matching
Yes.
with your card, you will get one ingredient from me.
That is
No,
true. No.
you're just like,
Yeah.
and so most of the time when I'm saying I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it anyways, or you have to be like prepare yourself for if you're not matching,
Be prepared.
you will get something out of it anyways.
Yes.
So yeah.
I kind of like the matching mechanism, because if you match with one of the players, you're going to move up on the suspicion track, which might then get the hunters to come and find you.
Yes.
But the thing is that the Septima always has an action token, and like the next round you also know what action token is on the Septima. So that is going to be, and you can always match with the Septima, and if you match with the Septima and nobody else, you will still get the matching bonus, but you will get 2 suspicion.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like when you know that you have to match to be able to do something, you then know that, okay, I can match with that now, but it's going to be more expensive kind of in the suspicion. So I enjoyed that mechanism.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. And when you play with the ritual track, which
you should, which is the full game, yeah.
You are getting suspicion with matching, yes, but you're also getting a benefit, all the people who are matching. And if you also match the next step, there are like different symbols depending on where you are on the ritual track, then you will also advance on that, which will give you points, it will give you more abilities, you will untap already use spells, and you can get a lot of points on going for that.
Oh yeah, I like without that part, which is basically what you take away from the base game. The matching doesn't feel very interesting, but with the ritual track, it's kind of that, okay, do I need that bonus action? I don't want to go for the suspicion, but I really want to go up further to get those bonuses and get the points throughout the game. Let's talk a bit about the suspicion.
Yeah.
You are getting suspicious. You're moving up on this suspicion track. If you go all the way to the top and you bump the track, the hunters are basically just going to find you. And they're going to take one of your covens or one of your witches and put them on trial. But other than that, you're trying to manage that in a way. Because let's say I'm at 5 suspicion and I get 1 suspicion, I'm at 6. Then at the end of the round, I'm saying, oh, there is a hunter in a hunter cabin in my area. He's going to try to come and find me. And you're going to roll a hunter die and you're going to add or subtract from the number. And if it's a positive number, he's going to try and move and find you. And there's from 1 to 6 spaces you can move in each direction. And trying to do that. So moving to places where there's no hunters is good, because then they're basically going to come to your location, like your area. There's 6 areas on the board and not find you that turn. And throughout the game, there's going to be more hunters. There are 3 in the beginning, 4 and 5. I'm going to ask you a question now. Did you find it very hard to not be taken by the hunters?
Depending, yeah.
The first time you played?
Yeah. The first thing I did was getting caught by a hunter. But when I know the rules, you had to. I felt like moving on the board was a big part of the game. You couldn't just stand anywhere because they would come and find you. So if I wanted to go and, for example, get some ingredients on that part of the board, I would have to decide: do I want to go into the area with the hunter? Or do I want to stay here where there's no hunter? There's no problem staying at the same area with a hunter if you're not moving up on suspicion. But especially when you're playing with 3 and 4, you can't really predict when you're getting suspicion or not. So that could be risky.
Yeah, I feel like it was kind of easy to not be taken by the hunters, but it has a pressure on you throughout the game. Especially by the end of the game, you're going to you have to place yourself, because depending on the actions you want to do, like collecting ingredients, we're going to talk about that soon, and healing patients, we're going to talk about that soon as well. You want to be standing in specific spaces, but the hunters then going to make it harder for you to do the action you want, because if you go up, it's going to come and find you. So it's putting pressure. I hope that's kind of like the thing that the designer wanted it to be, more than the hunters actually taking the witches.
And being high on suspicion, you can also go around with a high suspicion level, just hiding from the hunters always. But if you want to save the witches on the trial later, it's people are going to be very angry if you have a lot of suspicion. Yeah.
So let's talk about a couple of things. Collecting ingredients.
Yes.
I think that's an interesting thing they've done here, because each round there's 2 different ingredients that you can collect. And most of the time you can't collect any other ingredients. There's some bonuses, some special abilities that lets you do different things. But the core thing is when you collect resources, you take the resources from the spaces that are adjacent to you, and you're only getting the lunar ingredients, which are the 2 adjacent ingredients.
Yeah, I really enjoy that. It really makes you think about where to go to and which order you have to do the actions in to get the moon to be in the position that you want to, the round that you're actually going to collect ingredients. I love that.
So thematically, it's like where the moon shines on the things you can find them.
Yes.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. I can't see the blueberries now because the moon is over there. And I know they're around there somewhere, but I can't find them.
And the more ingredients you have, the more freedom you have to make the potions that you want to make. And I think that I like making, you have 2 kinds of potions, healing the patient's potions.
And practical
potions that you can use to escape from the hunters. You can use it to move wherever you like. You can use it to match when you're not actually matching, or help with the witch trial. And you also get points for making those practical potions.
Yeah, so they're giving you a one-off ability, but they're giving you 3 points each for for when you're making them to make it more likely that you make them, because building or healing the patients most of the time feels more important, because when you're healing the patients, which you do by brewing the potions and then moving to a space that's adjacent to either the hospital, which always have all the patients but is worse, but also some patients that are laid out in the beginning in the town. You can heal 2 patients with a healing card, and then you're going to move on the tracks. You have like 3 tracks, 1 for each kind of person or patient, and when you move on them, you're going to get an ability, but it's also going to be points. When you heal in the hospital, which has all types of patients at all times, it's a very bad hospital. Like, there's always people that needs things at all times, like a real hospital, I guess. And you're going to move on the tracks, but you're not going to get the bonus, so you're only doing it for points and for going farther up on them. And the farther up you are, it's going to be more points, but also it's going to be 6 points for each set of 3 patients that you have cured.
Yes.
So most of the points, I feel like many of the points are going to come from that. One of the games we played, I played like a very strange strategy, because I had a couple of witches that made it so like, I'm going to try to do practical potions and almost no healing potions as well. I ended up losing by only 45-50 points, so that wasn't too bad. But I had like 90 points. We emptied the whole can of the
you get so many in-game points. Yeah, and the other things that you can do throughout your turn is getting your loyal citizens into the crowd, or from the crowd to the actual trial.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the witch trial at the end of each turn.
Yeah, it's very simple.
Round. Yes.
It's super simple. It's basically, you take all the things that all the people you have in the crowd, and you add the angry citizens. You draw X amount depending on number of players, and you look at the majority. If the red are more than the other colors, the witch is not. The witches don't win. But if the witches have more than the witch with the most, they're going to get that into the coven, which does a couple of things. It's going to score your points, give you an ability, and another thing we're going to talk about soon. But this is kind of like the trial thing is okay, and then depending on like the number of people you have left, because if you win you're going to lose a few, you're going to get some crowd picks, which is basically some pretty nice abilities that you can take for having people in the crowd.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Do you feel like the random drawing? Do you like that in the game?
I like that since it is a random drawing, that you can mitigate it. If it's really important to you, you could like spend your actions on actually getting into the trial if it's important for you to win. But I also like that if you don't win, you get these bonuses abilities for just having people there, and they're also worth points at the end of the game. So I feel like even though you don't get to win the witches, they're still powerful to just like have there, the people.
Yeah, I agree. So I think like it's I don't mind it too much, because like you can also try to mitigate the amount of angry citizens. Like I didn't go for that at all last time. I tried to have a high suspicion so that more of them got into the bag, making it harder to win. Another thing I like is that at the beginning of the game, you're getting a Book of Divinations, which is basically you're scoring a card for the end of the game. On it, there's 4 missions, and you can score the 4 missions at the game, but you can only score one of the missions per witch you have in your coven. So in the beginning, you're going to have 2. You might lose some, but we haven't seen anyone end with less than 2. And so you might score 2 of them, but if you manage to get 3 or 4, you will then score more. So that is kind of like the biggest reason to go into the trials. I feel like getting the abilities is good, but getting that possibility to score more points at the end, opening up more final scoring is the biggest part.
I agree, and it doesn't matter if you have all 4 witches if you haven't focused on the things your book, which also dictates how you play the game, because I got 20 points for just having all my loyal citizens in the crown in the last game we played. 20 points in this game is a fair amount of points, so it really dictates your playing style as well. But if you only have like 2 witches to score for, maybe you should go for the more easier points, or you should like really focus on the hard ones. So you can decide which ones you go for there, which I enjoy.
I like that. There is many witches in the game with different abilities. I feel like all of them are like smaller abilities, doesn't change the game too much. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Then you have the spells, but I feel like most of them feels overpowered, like in a good way. It feels like they are very powerful, and you get to use them most of the time like once, and you can untap them and use them again. They feel very nice, and as we said before, like they're a big part of the game, so it's not very interesting to play without them. You agree with my
Yes,
thoughts on that?
absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk a bit about the weight and who is it for?
I think that Mindclash has absolutely succeeded in making an easier game, but this is still a game with a lot of crunch.
Yep.
It's still a lot to think about, and it can still make for a lot of AP. We did kind of forget to talk about the playtime and player count.
Oh, we did?
Yes, so we have played this game with 2 and 3 players. We have not played with 4. I thought the 3-player experience was more interesting because of the talking
Matching,
about with what matching, it's more people to match for. I think that is scaled well when that is said, but I think like the 3-player experience was more interesting, but it was longer.
Very long. It was 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
You could play it shorter than that. I don't see if you're playing it like and we play 2 players like 1 hour of 90 minutes to 1 hour and 45 minutes. And we played pretty quick, especially when you play 1 hour and 30 minutes. I wouldn't say like playing this in 50 minutes with 2 players.
I would not see that doable.
Then you're not thinking about your turns, you're just doing things randomly. I'm gonna say the rest in my final thoughts. So we should do some final thoughts maybe.
Yes.
Let's do it. And before we do that, if you are new to our channel and you enjoy anything what we do, if any of this video gave you help in some way or will give you help with the final thoughts, then it means a lot to us if you want to give us a victory point.
Yes, help us out by giving us a victory point, and you can do that by subscribing. You can also click the bell to get notifications every time we post a new video.
So maybe I should start the final thoughts now because we often agree with a lot of things. So I'm just going to say my thing. I'm going to try to do it quickly. Septima is a game. But it's a fun game. It's an okay game. I feel like not gonna compare them because I like this one way better than the one I'm gonna compare it to. But it kind of felt to me when Vitala Serna made the game I don't even remember the name of, the art robbery game.
Oh, the escape plan.
Escape plan was like, I'm gonna try to make a lighter game, but then you still have almost the same on the rules and almost the same playtime. It's just less exciting and less interesting. And even though I like this better, it kind of reminds me of that. It feels like, of course, Voidfall is going to be a longer game. It's going to be a longer setup. It's going to be a longer turnout. But like to carry on, you can play that with 3 players in 2.5 hours, and it's going to give you, with the basic game at least, and it's going to give you way more interesting things to think about and choices than I feel like this game has. For me, I think that I enjoy my time playing it, but I don't see myself choosing to play it over the other Mindclash games, which I adore and I love. That is kind of my final thoughts. For me, it's a good game. I'm going to give it a 7. I think it's like a solid game. I had fun while I played it. I wouldn't mind if somebody's like, I really want to play Septima. I wouldn't be sad to play it again, but I don't know if I'm going to choose to play it. And that's my final thoughts. Over to you.
Interesting. I feel very similar to you. I feel like this also feels like you're trying to simple it down.
Yes.
But not enough that I'm saving time or I'm saving like that it flows really well, because it doesn't do that either. I think there are a lot of interesting things in this game that I enjoy, but like the choosing of the actions, it's so interesting because there's a lot of there are so much simpler things on the cards here, but I still use a lot of time doing the stuff. And I think about, for example, in Voidfall, you have a lot of information on the cards, but I think those are much more fun to choose between. And so I enjoy a lot of things here. Some of the luck factors in this game, I don't mind. I think they're fine. No problem with that. But it's like, for me, it's a negative that it takes so much time, and I feel like I am not enjoying myself if I just like, oh, I play a card, I'm done, I don't see, oh, it matches, woohoo, yay. Like, I have to think about that to actually have fun.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I was saying.
So I want the game to take shorter amount of time, but I don't feel like I can do that without losing some of the fun in this game. So I agree. The main reason that it isn't higher ranking wise for me is the playtime. I think
Yeah.
like the
Yes.
other mechanisms are solid, and I think there's some unique things in this game as well that you should check out. But for me, sadly because of the playtime, it's landing at a 6.5.
Okay, so that's going to be the end of this review. We hope you enjoyed it and that it gave you some thoughts in your brain or just some entertainment. What do you think about the game? Let us know in the comments.
Yes.
Leave a comment saying things like, hello, this is my name, or thoughts about the game. That makes us happy all the time. And this is going to be the end of the video. My name is Johannes.
I'm Sunniva.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings. And bye!